founded. Now, Mike, you spent millions of dollars uniting the CEOs who launched billion-dollar cannabis firms, medical teams developing the cutting-edge treatments, major players in banking and finance, the most successful investors, and even the politicians reshaping cannabis laws in this country. We're all on one team, and everybody watching today can join the team and learn how to chart their own course through this exciting industry.
Well, they sure can. The press has repeatedly described the cannabis industry as a green gold rush, and they're right. Just on Wall Street, we've seen no less than 64 of the best performing pot stocks shoot up over 1,000%. 11 past 10,000%. 5 over 25,000%. 3 over 50,000%. Now, no other sector of the stock market offers this kind of upside, but you don't want to lose your shirt on the wrong companies. Our mission at the Institute is to help folks make smart decisions for themselves. We have the expertise, the connections, the influence, and we've recruited the leading business, political, and medical minds in cannabis. We leveraged all of that to identify the most exciting investments in this booming industry.
It's why we recruited John Boehner, the former Speaker of the House, to be one of the first to join the Institute. John's on the board of Acreage Holdings and was instrumental in their $3.4 billion merger with Canopy Growth. He spent a lot of years in Congress, and he's one of the president's golfing buddies. You think he's getting a heads up before his friends on Capitol Hill pass new cannabis laws?
Yeah, he's definitely dialed in, as is John VARDAMAN. He's on our board. John was a senior lawyer in the Department of Justice for Presidents Bush and Obama. He drafted the Cole Memo, and that gave states the freedom to write their own cannabis laws.
The Institute really has every angle covered. I'm a big fan of the medical potential of cannabis, and one of the Institute's leaders is Dr. Michael Dor. Today, he's the senior advisor on cannabis research for the Israeli Ministry of Health.
We also have Avtar Dillon. He was the CEO of Inovio Pharmaceuticals, taking that company from $10 million to $500 million in annual revenue. Joe, you've been extremely successful as an angel investor. You've backed some of the most exciting cannabis startups. That's why we wanted you to join the Institute.
Let's not forget about Danny. I mean, nobody is better at analyzing cannabis IPOs than he is. And in a few moments, we have another one of our experts joining us from his private getaway in New Zealand. He's made a fortune as an options trader. Now he's helping members master these strategies with cannabis investments.
What our team represents is power. We're putting the power back in the hands of our members. You see, every month we bring in the CEOs and execs of the most exciting cannabis companies to conduct virtual pitches for us. We're putting them on camera, and they're going to explain why you should invest in their companies. Now, these are executives from public companies, those about to IPO, early stage startups, all of them. I mean, I remember when Bruce Litton conducted his virtual pitch for the Institute. Now, Bruce co-founded Canopy Growth, a first-generation cannabis stock that has done extremely well. We had Michael Feinsod, the executive chairman of General Cannabis Corp., in for a virtual pitch too. Not to mention John Fowler and Michael Gorenstein, the founders of Supreme Cannabis and Kronos. I mean, we're lining up the leaders of the next generation of cannabis companies for virtual pitches. We're putting these executives on the hot seat. Members have the chance to ask them the questions that will help determine whether or not they should invest. And these executives are going to answer the most popular submissions.
Speaking for myself, there's nothing that can replace looking somebody in the eye and asking them questions before you invest. Can the CEO clearly articulate the company's mission? Is there a bold vision for where the company should go and a solid plan for massively scaling up operations? Make them earn your money.
That's what I mean by putting power back in our members' hands. Nobody else has the pull to get these guys to come in, to make their pitches directly to you. And the virtual pitches are just one part of an extensive process at the Institute. Our research department spends significant time and resources reviewing every company, investigating every plan and projection. After that team has reached a consensus, we release our monthly action plan for our top cannabis investment target. And included with these action plans, each board member provides their insights and their specific area of expertise.
I look at every investment as a puzzle. Each puzzle has different pieces, and before I'm ready to invest, I want to make sure all those pieces fit together. The experts at the Institute provide all of those pieces in each monthly action plan. And as you just said, they're each focused on their specific area of expertise, all of their proprietary research, their charts, projections, their analysis. It's all there.
Exactly. Now, say we've uncovered a small cannabis firm. They have cultivation operations and dispensaries in 3 states. However, they're planning a large expansion into more markets. You'll want to know how upcoming legislation could impact the company's revenue in those new markets. Well, board members like John VARDAMAN and Josh Sanderlin will tell you. John, we just mentioned, wrote the Cole memo for the DOJ, and Josh is one of the top cannabis lawyers in the country. He's worked on new legislation with members of Congress. Years back, he even helped the city of Denver roll out their own recreational cannabis program. Now, maybe that company also has dreams of becoming a mega brand. Before you invest, you want to know if those dreams can really become a reality. That's why we have experts like Jen Larry at the Institute. Jen has been a brand strategist for major companies like Ogilvy and Mather, one of the largest advertising agencies in the world. She now works exclusively with cannabis firms. And Danny, you're pretty qualified in the brand building business. I mean, Plus Products, the 3rd company you took public, is a very popular brand in California. So your expertise provides critical insight for our team as they prepare each monthly action plan.
It's a team effort. Michael Robinson has been on the board of a large venture capital firm and has been an advisor to a dozen or so tech companies. If it's a cannabis tech play, he is a master at determining the value of their patents and if their inventions can live up to the hype. If the cannabis firm is developing a medical treatment, we're calling on ERNEST TREMBLAY. He's one of the leading FDA researchers, having worked with dozens of Nobel Prize caliber doctors from institutions like Harvard and Columbia. And he knows whether a treatment has a shot at receiving FDA approval and how much revenue it might generate. You want to know which cannabis company could soon get a check from BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, or some other big institutional player? D.R. Barton is your man. He ran a hedge fund for years, and he's always on Fox Business. They love him. He's what I call our follow the money guy.
The monthly action plans are extremely comprehensive, but you don't have to spend hours and hours combing through the analysis. When you open an action plan, you will immediately see a brief overview on the latest target, who they are, what they do,
And why we like them.
Exactly. And that's followed by a 1-page SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It summarizes the major findings for that company and groups them under those 4 categories. You can scan this information in just a couple minutes.
We also assign a risk score to that company on a scale of 1 to 100. Plus, what a potential return could look like and a timeline for that return. This helps make it easy to weigh the risk against the reward before deciding whether or not to invest. Now, you probably know this, but you should never invest more than you feel comfortable risking. But if you decide you want to pull the trigger, we have simple step-by-step instructions. And if you want more information, again, our board members help provide all that in the rest of the action plan.
The Institute's goal is to show you how to build a $1 million or multi-million-dollar cannabis portfolio. Today, the team has something special that should give you a giant head start.